Hello everybody, it's me, Karen Valentine, and I am really excited about today's project. So originally I was going to do, and I think I even said in one of my previous videos that I was planning on doing this image by Karron, and I still might do it. I still might do it on a future video, because it's a really cool image. However, Belinda with Color with Faithful Girl did it like the day before I was going to sit down and do my own tutorial. So I put the brakes on that, even though she did hers in Copics. So that's why I think I'll go ahead and still do it. But this is Christine's latest image. And my heart went a little bit fluttery when I saw it. I just thought it was so pretty. So it is her newest one. It's in her Etsy shop. And it is called Lillies Pearls, for obvious reasons. So I actually went ahead and did her skin because I did it in my new Pan Pastels. And I wanted to make sure that I could do it and not be a total failure on camera. So I did it and tested it out, and it's going to be great and it's going to be fine. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do today. So let me show you my new toys. You guys, some of you probably already have them. You've probably seen them on YouTube. I've been admiring them and thinking about getting them for some time. Excuse me, guys, hang on. Ooh, sorry about that. And I finally just decided to bite the bullet and get them. And I don't have the box for that one, but the first set that I got was the Flower Garden 2, I think was the set. And it came with 6 colors. And I did those for the purpose of thinking that, all right, well, I'll get them and I'll do backgrounds with them. And I don't know what's going on with my throat. So I got them and I really liked them, but then I was really sad that I didn't have any colors to do skin tones with, and therefore I broke down and I bought the portrait set. So it comes in a box like this, and you get 4 little containers of 5 colors each. And I don't know if you can see, but those are the colors. Lots of good colors to do, typical colors that you would think you would use to do skin tones, and then some others that you know, maybe they gave them to you to do a full portrait. So maybe this turquoise and the ultramarine blue and some of these grays, maybe, I don't know, maybe those are for doing stuff all around the portrait and not so much the skin tone. I don't know, but they're great colors and they're perfect. It's a perfect set if you would like to get started in doing Pan Pastels, but you don't know what colors to buy, and you want to be able to have some to do backgrounds as well. This has them all, and you can blend them and mix colors like they're paint. It's really cool. So you also get in the kit some tools. I don't think you get this many. Some of these are from my my other kit, but available, and you can buy them separately too, is a triangle, an oval, and a square paddle brush, I guess is what I'll call them. And then you get all the little sponges that go on top of it, and they just slip right over the little paddle. Now, if you're using a very highly textured paper, which a lot of pastel artists do, these will not last as long as a smoother paper, because the paper just tears up the foam, and and they don't last as long, but you can get refills. And you also get these little heavier applicators. You know, maybe those would be good for doing backgrounds, I think. And you also get some of these for doing tiny work. However, I found these to be extremely awkward and uncomfortable to use. I'm not sure who designed that, but I don't think the design of that was very good. So I took some dowel sticks. What are those called? Chinese chopsticks. Chopsticks would work too. And I just took a rubber band and just rubber banded those suckers right onto the end of the dowel. And now I can hold it just like a pencil, and it's fantastic. So if you have some of these and you've been using it like this, maybe try attaching it to another pencil or a dowel stick or something, and it will change your life. Okay, is there anything else that I wanted to show you or talk about? Okay, this is a fluffy makeup brush that I bought just it was cheap. It was not, and it wasn't one of those expensive ones. And I used that to brush the dust off. It's better than using your hand, which I have a bad habit of doing, because that will surely smear the pastel all over the place, and you'll have a big mess to have to clean up. I also will be using some erasers, because the beauty of these Pan Pastels is that they erase right off the paper until you spray them. So I love my gum erasers. They pick up the pastel without leaving a straight line. If you're trying to pick it up in an area that you already have pastel down and you don't want to remove all the pastel. You'll probably see that in action sometime during this tutorial. And then a little Tombow. This is Tombow. Any brand that has that little micro eraser will come in really handy for you guys as well. And the last thing that I think I want to talk about is paper. So when I was watching some of the YouTube tutorials that are out there on the Pan Pastels, quite a few of them came from real, actual artists who do incredible artwork. And they use like pastel paper or a sanded paper because the Pan Pastels really grip to the texture of the paper and provide a really rich, saturated, almost like it looks like a painting. And I was a little worried about that, because I don't really like using textured paper. I've tried the toned tan paper in the past to do portraits, and I didn't like it. And it's such a bummer, because I've seen some of you out there that do the most incredible work on toned tan paper, but it's too textured for me. I just don't like it. So I did try several different papers with these Pan Pastels just to see what I was going to want to use and like, and so on and so forth. I tried a pastel, a paper actually made for pastels, and I did not love it. I tried one for colored pencils, because, you know, they have that has some tooth. And so I did this one on colored pencil paper. So her face was done with the Pan Pastels. But then when it came time to do her eyes and her hair, which I wanted to do in colored pencil, I found that the texture of the paper was just a problem for me. I didn't like it. So you know, when I want that crisp line for the for her eyelashes, and especially, you can especially see it in the hair here. I don't know if it's just my technique is not the right technique for using this kind of paper with colored pencils. Some people, again, achieve fantastic results using more texture paper, but I just can't seem to get the hang of it. So I did not like the way the colored pencil looked on this paper because it just left, it was too textured, too bumpy, and it left too many little white bits, and that's even after I think I used a blending pencil on it. So I decided I was going to really try and figure out how to do this on my paper, the smooth paper that I like. And I did. I managed to do it just fine. So you can see this is done on my regular paper that I do, and I don't get those yucky lines. But there we go. But I also am able to achieve the look that I want with the Pan Pastels for her face. So, where was I going with all this? I would say don't go out and try and find fantastic paper, special paper for the Pan Pastels. I think you can use your own paper. And I achieved this by doing some layers of pastel and then spraying it with a fixative and then going back and adding more layers. So that's what we're going to do today. This is Strathmore Bristol smooth paper, but truly I could have done the same thing on my Recollections cardstock from Michaels. So probably whatever cardstock you have, you'll be able to achieve the same look. Okay. I think I'm probably not going to do a lot of talking today because I have a frog in my throat that won't go away. I don't know what's going on there, but it is what it is. So I'm going to probably not, let's see, I gotta think about this. Okay, so I do want to show you one more thing. Yes, one more thing. So some of the kits of the Pan Pastels come in a palette like this plastic palette where you can put the pans in here. And it has a lid, and so it's a great way to store them. And this is the way I normally will store them because they're easy to just pull the lid off, and it sits next to me, and I really like that. So they also sell these separately on Amazon if you would like to get those, if you get a kit that does not have one. But for this video, I'm finding it easier, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing better if I take them out of that pan, because then I can show you what the colors are. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to kind of get started, and I think I'm going to leave the camera set at this distance. I don't think it's something that you need to see really up close, but I think it's more important that you kind of see what I'm doing in the entirety, because I work around the whole piece quite quickly, and I'm afraid I'll just completely get out of frame, and I think this is going to work better. So I'm just going to get started, and we'll say a little prayer that it comes out okay. So to start with, let's see, do I want to put light color or dark color down first? To start with, I think I'm just going to, and I'm not sure if that's how much that's going to help, but I'm going to start with the titanium white. Oh yeah, what? I keep thinking of new things. One more thing. I'm trying to keep my dark colors with one of the tools and my light colors with the other. I don't always succeed, but it helps me it helps to keep me from accidentally putting a dark smudge where I want light color. So that's just another little maybe tip, I guess. Oh, and this sponge. This sponge came with the kit, and I realized, I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly or not correctly, but for me, rather than using this to apply color, I'm using this as a mixing palette. So I can mix my colors from the pans right here on the sponge and then just pick it up and use it as I go. So that's what I'll be doing with that sponge. Okay, I think I'm ready now. So I'm just going to dive in and we'll say a little prayer. So this is the titanium white, and I'm just going to put some of that down. So I'm kind of, it's not perfectly white, and I can still cover it up, but I think just for my peace of mind, I'm going to go ahead and add it in some of the areas that I want to make sure I remember to do white, even though it's not white, if that makes sense. Oh, let's see. I want to put her cleavage in here too. So just gonna do a really faint line for her. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to mix burnt sienna tint and titanium white, and I'm going to mix them and put them on my palette, so to speak. And I'm doing that because I didn't want to use straight burnt sienna tint. I wanted it to be just a hair lighter, because this is going to get much darker once we spray it. I'm also not going to worry about not covering up the pearls or anything else, because we're going to just erase before we spray. Okay, now I'm going to use red iron oxide shade and burnt sienna shade. So their colors come in three, I think 3 or 4 ranges. So they have, like, for example, available, not in this kit, but they have red iron oxide dark, which is like a really dark version of this. Then the shade. Then I think they just have red iron oxide, and then red iron oxide tint. So you have a wide variety of those, each one of the colors available. somebody in one of my Facebook groups put out the question out there of, if you had unlimited funds, what would you spend your money on? And I said, the entire set of Pan Pastels, because the entire set is like, I don't know, $400 or something. It's crazy like that, but it would be fun. But you can, like I said, you can mix colors. So you don't really need all of those colors. So you can see how far the color goes. You just put a tiny little bit on your sponge brush and it just goes forever. Okay, so back to the burnt sienna tint and the titanium white. Okay, so it looks like at some point, I don't remember doing it, I rubbed my light color brush into a dark color. So I'm just going to use maybe the side of the foam. I'm going to call it my palette to try and make sure that I remove as much of that color as I can. And then back to the light. It's not a disaster. You can always erase if you accidentally do put too much or put the wrong color somewhere. You can actually, you know, get it off, but just going to dip into this red iron oxide shade. It's a bit redder than the burnt sienna. I'm going to break out my little tool and do the same thing with the same color. Maybe a little bit of the burnt sienna on there. Then you can use your little sponge to dab off color as well as pick up color. It works both ways. Some more of that combo. Long brush. Okay, what do I want to do now? I think I want to add some yellow ochre tint. I'm just kind of tapping. I'm not really rubbing too hard. And you still get quite a bit of color on there. So we're gonna, it kind of gives her a little bit more of a glowy. Okay, let's do some purple. Well, lavender, I think. So this is not violet tint. And I just love what this color does. I use it something similar when I do the color pencils. And I don't know, I just really like what it looks like on skin tones. So you use it kind of where the shadows would be, because I don't think it would look right anywhere else, but okay. I think I'm going to add some more of this. I might have enough just still on my thingy. So some more of this red iron oxide shade and burnt sienna shade. But I think I have enough left on my sponge to maybe a little bit more. We'll mix a little more on here. Maybe straight. I think I'll do red iron oxide straight. This might be a good opportunity for me to show you the Colorless Blender. So one of the other things that some of the kits come with, and you can also buy separately, is a Colorless Blender. And it is awesome. I'm just going to get a piece of paper, a piece of cardstock here. I'm going to use that to clean off my brush. Okay, so a little bit of Colorless Blender, and then I'm going to come in right here and blend out, and look just how beautiful that just transitions into the lighter colors. I just love it. Okay, let's throw down some cheek color. So for that, I'm going to use Permanent Red and Permanent Red Tint. The Permanent Red Tint, which I'm going to call pink, is too light, and the red is definitely too red. So I'm going to mix them and get a really nice rosy pink. And I think I want to put a little bit of, just a little bit of pink down here on the rest of her skin. I think skin tones are much more interesting when there's a variety of color. Solid color skin tones never look quite as real as ones that have multiple colors in them. All right, and I'm going to use a little of the Colorless Blender, just in any place that I felt like it just got too blotchy. Smooth it out a little bit. And I think I'm going to take some titanium white and come back in and really highlight those bright areas. Okay, we're almost ready to erase and spray, but I feel like I need to definitely add some more color right there because it just, something doesn't look right there. So I'm going to use some burnt sienna tint. It's right in here. And okay, let's see what we're gonna do. Maybe we can blend. That's a little bit better. And then I'm gonna come back in again with white because I feel like I made it too dark right there. Although maybe not. I mean, her skin is, you know, skin is dark. It's not white, so it could just be that it looks really dark because the pearls are so dark. Okay, one more time with the white, with the titanium white, hopefully. All right, we'll call that good. I want to work on her jaw a little bit more. And I'm using my dark brush. I think there's probably color on here already. Yep. Oh, I totally, what is it about ears that I always forget to do the ears? No idea. So, burnt sienna tint. And I think some of that yellow ochre. Oh, we have a long way to go on her ear now. Okay, we'll do some of the red iron oxide shade and the burnt sienna shade together. That's this one right here. I'll get that in on the inside. I hate it when I forget to do stuff while I'm working on everything else. It just... All right, how do I fix that? I'm really just using a dirty brush. I'm really just using whatever was on my dark brush because I know that the tones are the ones that I've been using, so. Okay, that looks better. And I actually kind of like what happened there with a little highlight right there, so I'm gonna leave that. I don't want to mess with that. But I do want to take some raw umber. It's a little greener of a brown than I would use, but I don't think I could use raw Umber Shade. Maybe we'll try that. So this is raw Umber Shade. It's even darker than the raw umber. Hopefully I'm right. And I'm literally tapping it to get color on there because I don't want a ton of color, but I want to be able to darken just right there in her ear. That may be it. I may not use that anywhere else. because it's really a very, you know, those raw umber is kind of a green color. Burnt umber is redder. So, but I still, we may be getting to the point where we have to spray, because every time I feel like every time I'm blending out now, the colors are just going away, and that's not what we want, because we can always add more after we spray. All I'm really doing is blending now. I'm not really adding color in. All right, I'm going to add some red iron oxide shade just to underneath the necklace. And I'm going to try something. So I'm going to use my brush, and I'm going to try and brush away some of the color, because I felt like it was a little bit dark. Okay, now back maybe one more time. The skin just looked a little bit too dark down here to me, like I didn't leave enough highlight. Yeah, I definitely feel like I didn't leave enough highlight. And hopefully after we spray, I'm pretty sure we can add some back in again. You know, I might take a fresh brush. That way there's no contamination, and try and put some white right there. Right there. I think her face is fine. I think the highlights there are fine. Maybe right here. Okay, I think I'm going to leave well enough alone. So let's get the pearls and everything all erased. So I'm going to just try this little skinny one, and I'm going to put a Kleenex down just to try and make sure I don't smear everything. So an electric eraser is nice, but it's so powerful, and I don't have as much control of it when I'm trying to make sure that I'm being very precise. So an eraser like this, for me, works really, really well. I have no idea what I'm going to do with these. They could be a tattoo, they could be jewels. I don't think we're going to do a whole lot with these pearls. I might change my mind later and add a little bit of yellow or cream. I don't know. Christine's done such a nice job in the drawing of them and putting the shadows where they need to go on the pearls themselves. I don't know, because they already look so nice and three-dimensional. They're pretty. Every once in a while, I just wipe the end of the eraser off. And you got to really get it good and clean, or else it's there permanently once we spray. I'm gonna try and add just a little bit more shadow right there. A little bit more here. A little bit right here. Wrong brush. Okay, back in with the eraser. And an area that I did not do is this, and I think I might be able to get away with a bigger eraser for that. So I'm just going to use the eraser off of my pencil. Okay, is there anything that I need to blend out? Now is the time, because once I spray, that's it. So I'm going to put a little bit of Colorless Blender. Right there. Alrighty, I am going to go spray, and I use the Krylon Workable Fixative. You can get this almost anywhere. You can get it at your local arts and crafts store, use a coupon. And if you don't have one of those near you, it's available on Amazon too. But it's nice. I mean, it says right there, protects pencil, pastel, and chalk drawings, prevents smudging and wrinkling, and allows easy rework. All very important, as well as being acid-free. So I'm going to go use that on this, and it takes like almost no time at all to dry. So I'll do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, she has been sprayed, and we're ready to do the next layers. These layers go a little bit faster because we're kind of just fine-tuning. So I'm gonna start by putting some of the burnt sienna tint and titanium white. And I'm just going to go over and kind of smooth the fixative can sometimes make it look a little bit blotchy. And so if I add this back in, it helps to take that away. So, okay. And let's go ahead and... You know, I might, now that I'm thinking about it, I might just dedicate this one brush to nothing but white. That way it doesn't ever get any colors on top of it, which I kind of like the idea of. Okay, I'm going to now add... Do I want some more purple? I feel like I do. I don't know why, but I'm going to try. So the violet tint, we're just going to put a little bit more of that in here. Okay. And red iron oxide shade and burnt sienna shade. And this I'm going to try, and I'm just kind of tapping it in. I don't know if that's... I don't know if that's going to help or not help. I don't. Then we'll blend it with some Colorless Blender, I think. I want to use Colorless Blender, but I want to use this. Boy, it'd be cool if there was a tool I could just stick that into. Now I'm starting to wonder if my... Well, that kind of works. So this is my X-Acto knife, and I'm just sticking this in there, pushing it kind of in there a little bit. It's pretty secure. It's pretty secure, so I'm going to use it. Oh my gosh, that could be my new... I feel like I blended what I put on here right off the page. Okay. Colorless Blender. There we go. Some more of this red iron oxide. I don't know, I think she might be... I might use colored pencil. Colored pencil. The problem with the colored pencil, it's not really a problem, you just got to be aware, is that once you lay colored pencil down on the chalk, you can't really put chalk back on top, I'm thinking this through for a second. So I've put color pencil down, and then I've tried to put chalk on top right away. And it doesn't work well because the chalk adheres to the color pencil wax differently than it does the paper. And so you get a definitive line. You can see what you've done, and it doesn't look good. What I haven't tried is spraying the whole thing and then applying the color pencil. So I might have to try that before the next video to see if that will help. All right, I'm going to be brave. You know what I might do? Okay, so I'm going to take this raw Umber Shade and put a little bit here on my palette. And then I'm going to take this red Oxide shade and mix it with it. And hopefully the two will counteract each other. And so it won't be too green and it won't be too red, but it will be dark. Worked pretty well. Colorless Blender. And I don't know why, but I want it to be quite dark right there. That's better. And let's see, let's try some dark. That's scary. Right there. I think she's done with her. I think her skin is done. I think we can move on and do her lips and her eyes. I do. Do I want to blend that a little bit? Let's see. Yep, just a bit. Does she have enough rouge on her cheeks? I'm gonna erase this before it gets... I think I'm pretty pleased with that. I don't see anything that stands out to me as being in desperate need of repair. We'll add shadows with colored pencil, the pearl shadows. So yeah, I think I'm gonna move on and do her, the rest of her face. So I'm going to clean up, wipe all this powder off, and break out the colored pencils. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll. So let's see, I need my white. I thought we were ready to rock and roll. There we go. White. So I did not spray after the second layer, and everything seems to be staying just fine. And because I'm going to put it in a binder, I don't think I'm going to spray it again. That's just me. If you feel like you want to spray yours, by all means, spray it again. But I'm going to leave it. Okay, so I'm going to add some white to her lip. Now for this, if you want, we can probably zoom in a bit, because I'm not going to be moving around that much. And then this is my, you know, kind of one of my go-to color combos for lips. So, Nectar. And I kind of know what color I want to do the lilies already, so this color will look pretty with what I'm going to do on the lilies. And this is Tuscan Red. I know it's getting really small. Well, small for doing videos, because then my hand covers up what I'm doing, but I think we're okay. Wouldn't it be nice to have a never-ending supply of your favorite color pencils? They just magically appeared every time you needed a new one. That would be so nice. I used to have an art supply store literally like 2 miles from my house. And it was so nice to be able to just pop in there anytime I was running errands and driving past it. I kept a running list on my phone of the colors that I needed, and I could just pop in there and pick them up anytime, and that was so nice. And then they closed. That made me sad. Thankfully, there's still another store, but it's downtown, so it's a lot further of a drive for me. But at least if I ever don't want to wait to order them online, I can go there. Okay. That was easy. I'm gonna call those done. I think that looks just fine. Her eyes, I think we'll do light umber. There's really not a lot of the iris shows here between the highlight and the... And then let me sharpen this. This is Espresso. It's amazing what happens once you add color in the eye. All of a sudden it comes alive. Those highlights help too. And I'm putting this Espresso just, at least I'm trying to, just around the outer edge. Yep. And then I'm going to use my favorite black pencil, Schpirerr Farben Black, which you can now get on Etsy for much less money than you used to be able to get them on Amazon. So yay. Love being able to buy these open stock, because I literally use this black pencil for everything, and more than my Prisma Black. All right, so we just added a few more little eyelashes there. Now we could get really exotic if we wanted to and just really go crazy with her makeup, since she's got these kind of neat little dots here on her face. And I'm pretty sure I cleaned those before I sprayed, so this is probably just residual chalk from the second layer of pastel. Okay, and I believe Christine did her hair in blue, but I'm going to do these really pretty pinky orange and yellow lilies. I found an inspiration photo online, so I'm going to do her hair in brown. So I'm going to go ahead and do her eyebrows with the espresso. I wonder if most blonde colorists do a lot of blonde hair, and most brunette colorists do a lot of brunette hair, or if it's the opposite for most people. I don't know. I tend to be attracted to the darker colored hairs. Okay. Well, I am going to take, I think, light umber. We'll start there. That might not be dark enough. And I'm just gonna add some probably do that with the Pan Pastels, but let's try Espresso. This is going to be almost an experiment because I'm going to see what happens if I use my blending tool. Well, I think that worked out just fine. It blended up just fine. So I'm just going to go right along the edge there. Now you will get a difference in sheen because the Pan Pastel is very matte, and of course, at least wax pencils, they give a sheen. So when you look at it in certain light, you will see a sheen difference. But all my pages, when I finish them, go into a 3-ring binder anyway. So okay, that line looks a little harsh right now, but once I add the dark hair, it's not going to look, it won't look nearly as harsh. And I think I am going to add very lightly but this is kind of what I meant by why I like to use the smooth paper, because if I added colored pencils like this very lightly on top of, for example, the colored pencil paper, you would see all the texture of the paper, and it just wouldn't be smooth and pretty like it is. Okay, so I think there would be a much darker shadow right here. And right here. Okay, for the shadows on the pearls, I think we're going to go back to light umber because I don't want them to be too dark. And I am going to go over, is that what I want? Or do I want to, I don't think I want gray. I just don't think I want gray. And the light umber will warm up the gray shadows that Christine has provided. So, yeah, I'm just going to continue using this. And we'll put a little bit just realized I was still zoomed in, so I might have been completely out of frame for a while there. I won't know until I play it back and watch. I'm sorry, you guys. Oh well. Mandy says everybody makes mistakes, so I'm not going to worry about it. Alrighty, let's put some, just for giggles, I have a white jelly roll pen. Any gel pen will work. This is a 10. And you guys probably have seen, sometimes you'll see little white squigglies all over my hand. That's because that's how I get the pen started. And since we can, and they're so tiny, I think we're gonna, oh yeah, that looks pretty. We're gonna put this little jelly roll pen on these tiny little pearls or beads, whatever they are. There's something kind of therapeutic about doing this. So I've been thinking about the pearls, and I'm wondering if we should try a little bit of eggshell on the outside edge, just to warm them up a little bit and give them a little bit of color. I like that. Yep. So let's try that. Oh, maybe we should try it on our... Okay, let's be smart. I'm gonna put this one away, and this was the one that I did for test, and I'm gonna try it on this one so we don't mess up the... Oh yeah, I think I like that. So I'm putting this, oh yeah, I'm putting, yep, this eggshell color, and all I'm doing is circling the pearls. So I'm not coloring them completely in. Oh, I like that. That way you still get the white highlight is preserved, but now the pearls have completely taken on a creamy color. So yay, that worked. Oh yeah. Okay, this might be a little more challenging, but I think we can still do it. Yep. Okay, I really like that a lot. And now I'm curious if I take this gel pen and I put, let's hope I like it. Yep. So I'm just gonna put a little white dot kind of right in the middle. think that came out really nice. I like it. So I still don't know what I want to do with these dots. She's got some here too that I might have even forgotten to erase before I sprayed, which is not a disaster. If we can probably figure something out with those. So that's it. Pan Pastel portrait. I really, really like using them for portraits. Yeah, so if you, I'm sure I have to still do portraits with my Prismas because I don't want to get out of practice, and I know not everybody has Pan Pastels. So we'll mix it up. But you definitely will see me doing more Pan Pastel portraits because I want to get better at them, and I want to show you guys what the potential is. So I want to play around with some different colors, different skin tones, which will be easy because there's so many good light skin colors and dark skin colors for that matter to do. So we will play with those, and thank you again for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. Maybe you want to try something new. And if you are watching my channel for the very first time through this video, please go check out some of the other videos that I have to offer. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, guys. You just do not know how much I appreciate all the love and support you guys have given me, and I'm truly, truly grateful. So you guys have a wonderful week, and we will be back with part 2 probably in a few days. Okay, bye.